Hi there. I sat down with my sons to watch the third episode from the Disney Plus series Ashoka. I had them there in case I fall asleep so they can wake me up. I managed to go through this one to make a breakdown video for this episode, and believe me, it was boring as hell. Before I start breaking down the episode, I want to tell you what my older son asked me. His question was, isn't Sabine a Mandalorian? And aren't they supposed to be the best warriors in the galaxy? And I told him yes, of course, she is. And as a Mandalorian, she should be a good warrior. So his next question was, why is she so terrible at shooting and defending herself? Her targeting is worse than a stormtrooper. Tell me now, what do I answer? Because the kid sees that something is wrong here. And he gets it. But enough with my son's questions for now, and let's go to the breakdown. The episode starts with a training sequence that went for like 7 minutes, almost like 1/3 of the episode. Hayanga is the MVP in this sequence, and in most of the episode to be honest, stating that the Jedi wouldn't have trained Sabine since she's not force sensitive. But here they're trying to retcon who can be a Jedi by making Ahsoka say that everybody is in tune with the Force. How is that possible? Yes, they are, but not everybody can wield or use it, and that makes a Jedi special. If everybody could use the Force, is there any reason or meaning to have Jedis? Plus, everybody would be Force users. Plus, if you wanted to use the Force, Jedis go through like years of training just to be able to use some tricks. After this sequence, where Sabine gets like a reality check that she ain't no Jedi material, we go to the General Sedula trying to convince the senators to send help to Ahsoka so they can prevent the new war with Thrawn. But of course she fails to convince them because the leadership and the senators from the New Republic are not the brightest ones in the room and can't realize a real threat when it's coming. And that means like Ahsoka and her crew will be alone in this fight. They probably wanted to cut down costs here because they didn't want to show so many starships fighting around in space, probably. But once they get out of like Lightspeed, they're welcomed by 6 fighters, and then the dogfight begins. I would say better a catfight because there actually aren't that many males in this sequence practically. In the space dogfight sequence, we see that most of the pilots forget that space has 3 dimensions where they can go in any direction which they like, but the chase happens just in a straight line in space. What? It felt like this whole sequence was on rails, plus the lasers were just there for decoration, because they didn't do any damage on Ashoka's ship. Or she had her whole ship coated with Beskar, I don't know. They don't explain anything. Even that turbo laser, God, even a kid would come up with a better name, honestly. They couldn't even home their shots on her ship. But finally they get one hit, and the ship is immobilized. And this is where the unthinkable happens. Ahsoka gets out in space, wears a spacesuit, like in seconds, and face off the fighters to buy Sabina some time with only her lightsabers.
You serious?
I'm not lying. Yes, this happens. She even takes out one fighter with her own lightsabers by clipping off a wing, and does backflips and lands on her feet back onto her own starship again, in the vacuum of space by defying any laws of physics. Sabine manages to fix the heavily damaged spaceship in a matter of minutes. Don't ask me how she does it. She's probably the chosen one. And all this time, 5 fighters were unable to shoot down a sitting duck. Instead of doing like flybys on Ashoka's spaceship, they could like stop in a distance in safety and just shoot her down. In this whole sequence, Sabine is using the guns so she can shoot down the spaceships, but she is a Mandalorian, don't forget about that, but she's not able to shoot down one. Once she destroys one spaceship, she is celebrating like she won the World Cup or something. So let's go back to where Sabine, the Chosen One, fixes the spaceship, and they flee to the nearby planet, and they meet the flying whales, we know them from Rebels, and they manage to get away from the fighters and land on the planet, and they lay low so they can fix up the spaceship. This whole episode felt like and was a filler. It could have been condensed into 15 minutes. Where the first 2 episodes were decent, this one was so problematic that it tried to retcon how the Force works. It felt like Star Wars, but at the same time it wasn't. If the rest of the episodes have the same quality like this one, I don't know who will be left watching this show until the last episode. I hope this is the only one that sags, because it's gonna be painful to break down the rest of the episodes. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to do a comment, use the comment section below. Thank you and have a good one.